The GPS kept wanting to take us across the George Washington Bridge, wanted to take us down into the city on 95 and cross the George Washington Bridge. And I said, no, I'm going to go across the Tappan Zee Bridge, and which I did. Coming back, it tried to do the same thing, coming up the Garden State Parkway. It tried to do the same thing. It kept trying to get me off the Garden State Parkway and to go into the city. And even after I crossed the Tappan Zee Bridge, the GPS kept trying to take me down, what is it, 81 or 87 or something, down into the city to cross the bridge.
Yeah, well, you know, there is more than one way to skin a cat. A lot of different ways you can go, which a lot of people, you know, they'll do circuitous routes, take circuitous routes to avoid paying the tolls, because a lot of the tolls, well, especially now, they weren't always, but I think all the tolls now are one way. But if you go, you know, one way in the morning and another way at night, you can actually avoid paying the toll.
Fling, flang, flung. Good evening.
I think we're losing Clark here.
You're losing me? You don't hear my signal?
No, conversation-wise.
No, I'm digging. I'm a big fan of the Chimpanzee Bridge. I don't. I'm just like that Democrat who says that was ridiculous, naming it after some governor who was merely doing his job and won BCG.
Well, wouldn't you have been surprised if I knocked on the door and you open the door and you go, well, who the hell are you?
I would have been surprised, but that would have been fun.
I'd say, where's the beer, Clark?
No, at that. Well, what time of day was this?
Oh, let's see. Probably about 1 in the afternoon.
And what day?
It was a Monday.
I would have offered you both Folgers instant coffee.
Sanka?
No, Folgers singles, and it is yummy, by the way.
Do they even still make instant coffee in a jar?
You know, they do, and it's horrible. I agree. I do have, what is it, the frozen freeze-dried? Ugh, it's horrible. I have a subscription to Smuckers. J.M. Smuckers owns Folgers now. And they were late in sending my subscription. And I called them and I said, when is this going to be here? And they said, well, it's going out tomorrow. I'm like, well, that's good because my backup is your freeze-dried version of Folgers, and it's horrible. It's like night and day. So put a rush on that. And you know what? They did.
Interesting. You know, growing up, well, I didn't drink coffee growing up, but that was all my parents used to use was instant coffee unless we had company.
All right. If you had company, then what was it?
Then it was blurker, blurker, blurk, blurk, a blurker, blurk, blurk, with the metal percolator with the little glass thing on top on the stove.
Yep.
You ever see the Sebastian Maniscalco skit about Sanka?
No. Who's Sebastian who?
I'm choking to death here. Hold on. Sebastian Maniscalco, he's a comedian from New York.
Never heard of him.
Italian boy. Look him up on YouTube.
Yeah, he's funny.
Well, you know what I watch on YouTube, which is very funny. I'm trying to remember the comedian's name. I'm trying to find it while we're talking here. Is the Uncle Vinny videos? Rhodia comedy. I forget what his first name is. A comedian named Rhodia. He does these Uncle Vinny with Vinny's wife, Zia Lucia. Oh, man. Have you seen any of those, Rich?
No, I don't. But Perry, I guess you're a fan of him. My wife loves this Sebastian. Check him out. You'll be peeing your pants. You'll be laughing so much.
Isn't that great? Be incontinent before your time.
Sebastian Maniscalco?
Yep.
My time clock. How do you say it? Is it Manistoico or Maniscalco? How do you say it, Perry?
Yeah, Sebastian Maniscalco. It's how I believe it's pronounced.
Yeah, that's how I grew up with Maniscalcos. That's how you would pronounce it.
Oh, yeah, you'd like him. Very, very funny. And, not a lot of potty humor either. He'd make you laugh at all that stuff.
Yeah, it looks interesting. I'll definitely give him a listen.
Yeah, you guys, everyone's coming in good, man. Good signals this evening. Band's quiet.
Yeah. You gotta laugh. I love to laugh.
I heard it makes you younger.
Yeah, if you laugh enough, you'll become a millennial.
Oh, I didn't know Barbara Borson died.
Who?
The actress Barbara Bosson, that she played Faye Ferrillo on Hill Street. That's a good show, Hill Street Blues. I don't know if Perry ever saw it.
Nah, I've never seen it.
Yeah, it was on, I think it came on like 1980 or 81. It was on for like 7 years. And it was a cop drama, and it was some very, very funny stuff that they used to work into that. There was as much humor as there was drama in that show.
George, think about it. Telling that to Perry is like if you were talking about a TV show that came on in the 50s. Come on.
Hey.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't see that show in reruns like you do a lot of other shows.
I have a pretty wide range of knowledge about older stuff now. I know I'm only 35, but there's some I do know a lot about things that I shouldn't know because I hang around with you guys.
Yeah, there you go. Who was the fat sergeant on that show who became a sex symbol because he dropped his drawers one day, George?
Oh, you're talking about Dennis France, Sipowicz on NYPD Blue. What the heck was his Bunce, Lieutenant Bunce?
No, he was Sergeant Sipowicz. That's right, France.
Yeah, no, that was NYPD Blue that he dropped his drawers on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he came from Hill Street. He was Lieutenant Norman Bunce on Hill Street.
All right, I remember as Sergeant Sipowicz, so I must be thinking of the other show, but is he still around?
He's close to 80. I don't think he's doing anything. I don't think he has to. 12 seasons of that. I'm sure he made a ton of money, and then they get paid every time an episode is rerun. And DVD sales and all of that. I think the box set of all 12 seasons of NYPD Blue is like $130 on Amazon. I've been tempted to buy it a few times, but and watch the whole thing, sequentially from beginning to end. But we watch it in reruns.
You know what show I liked, and it ran for several seasons, and it is not available in any reruns, and you can't even watch any episodes on YouTube, is Northern Exposure. I love that show.
I have all 6 seasons on DVD, and every once in a while I break them out. Oh, yeah. I was in love with Maggie O'Connell back then. And Janine Turner, by the way, she's a good conservative girl. Not aging that well, but none of these actresses do. But, yeah, it was very quirky, but it was very funny, and I don't think I missed an episode when it was on. It was always very good.
Yeah, it was great. All those people, a lot of them weren't actors. They were just picked out of the blue I can't remember any of the names, but Dr. Fleischer's secretary there, she just, she was just hanging around the set one day and they hired her.
Yes. What the hell was her name? Evelyn? No. What was her name? I could picture her, yeah. She was an actual Alaskan person. And you had Maurice, the astronaut, and Holling Venkor, who owned the bar, and his young, chippy, half his age wife.
And don't forget Ed.
Forget who?
Ed.
Oh, Ed Chigliak, yeah. And the DJ, well, what the heck was his name?
So you've seen the reruns. I haven't seen it since the 80s. I can't remember. It's what was his name? But he's always getting into it with the astronaut there, because the astronaut, was he the mayor or something?
Well, I think he owned I think he owned the radio station. Chris was the DJ. Chris.
Wasn't that thing about hiring like non-professional actors? Didn't they do it with Lost?
I don't know. I know of Lost, but I never really watched it.
See, that's more of a my generation thing, I guess. And one BCG.
Well, we're only a couple of years apart, you and I think.
I know, but you're talking about like Howdy Doody and Mayberry RFD and all that stuff, and I'm talking about shows from like the 2000s.
Well, Northern Exposure was on in the 90s. I think it came on 90 or 91.
Yeah, when people on frequency were soiling diapers. I mean, that was a long time ago.
Whoa. I was soiling diapers in the 80s, buddy.
All right. Well, I appreciate you clarifying that. Now you made me spill my doers all over the place, dang it.
I remember Northern Exposure. You guys remember that show Wings?
Yes.
That was a pretty funny show. I used to watch that in the summertime. When my mom's longtime boyfriend at the time was big into that show, and he had broken his shoulder on our trampoline. So he was. I remember him being home all one summer, and Wings was on every day.
Clark should have liked that show.
Yes, that was the folks at the radio station would do fun stuff in quotes by putting a picture of me and my friend who owns a plane with me in place of the heads of two of the characters on the posters for Wings. Yep. Was that based in Nantucket or something like that?
Yeah. Wings was either Nantucket or Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah, I never saw 1 second of one episode, but that's all I know of it.
I always thought the blonde Crystal Bernard was hot.
By the way, there is a Wings Cafe. Now I think of it, there's a Wings Cafe at the airport in Nantucket, and they have pictures from the series up. So maybe I think it was based in Nantucket.
And I think wasn't one of them, I don't remember their names, one of the two brothers, wasn't he in the Airplane, the movie Airplane?
All I know is if you lay on the beach on the southern part of the Cape in Hyannis or Yarmouth or any place like that, you see these beach craft coming from the south, flying at about 500 feet, heading to Hyannis.
Now they've upgraded their fleet. That's Cape Air. They actually got rid of those, and they're flying new planes now.
The sad thing about that show, Wings, and I think he was involved with Cheers and some other shows, the producer, David Angel, Angell, was on one of the planes on 9/11. Or either one of the plane that hit the Pentagon or one of the planes that hit the Trade Center.
When they fly those aircraft so low, Clark, it must be a bumpy ride all the way in.
Well, you're going such a short distance. Like I've been on New England Airlines, which flies Islanders, which are basically twin engine. I mean, I picture a fairly small plane, but the wing is over the top of the fuselage and it's twin engines. They fly really slow. But that flight is 10, maybe 15 minutes long, and that includes the takeoff and landings. And it goes between Block Island and Westerly. That's $45 per passenger, and they only go up to 1,000 feet. I remember having to fly on that once. I'm like, you know what? This is such an insult. When you have your own plane and you actually have to pay these knuckleheads $45 to fly 10 minutes, it's just, yeah.
Yeah, they probably have a total of 450 hours between the two of them.
Oh, they do that all day, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's got to get tedious. And one PCG, speaking of tedious.
Yes, and 2LJO.
A1ETP.
Hey, Joe. Good evening. I forgot I did hear you. Good evening. W3 MMR.
Well, I've been getting on again lately in the past year or so.
Yeah, I've been hearing you a lot, man. Good to hear you.
Well, good to be here.
Joe, you got to get yourself a big honking amplifier.
Yeah, I know, believe me, I do know. My short-term plan is as soon as I get through backing my computer up, which is going to take me forever, I got to back it up and transfer files to a new one. My plan is to first get the Ranger on the air. I figure 40-50 watts of high-level plate modulation should make initially a big improvement.
What are you're on a Rice Box now, right?
Yeah, I'm on an Icon 703. Excuse me, 7300.
ICOM is calling you to correct you.
I mean, really, just for rig power, you're really not doing that bad. You're 10 to 15 over here at times. I double with you. I said you're doing really good, man, for that 7300. You're 10 to 15 over at times. The later it gets in the evening, you know, once it gets dark out, your signal will really come up.
And if I put my 7610 on AM compared to the 7300, my 7610 sounds like dog doo.
You're on your Ranger now, George, right?
Actually on the ICO.
Oh, man. That sounds good.
Thank you very much. I've been told that. Yes, I try to keep the settings consistent on it. I have to, I had to take the VFO off of it, the ICO VFO. It stopped working. I'm running it off a DDS VFO right now. I was wondering what the hell's going on. You know, I've got 5 different lash-ups here, and you got to throw a switch here and a switch there and a switch here. And I was like, what the hell? And then I figured out, oh, it's got no grid drive, and then I figured out it was the VFO. But at least I have this little DDS VFO, but that doesn't affect anything as far as how it sounds. Thank you. I had a lot of fun putting it together.
Yeah, that DDS VFO. I see where the guy that was selling those buffer amplifiers is no longer selling them.
Oh, really? Oh, that would suck. Yeah, because you're not going to get enough drive out of the VFO without that little buffer amp. What was his, what the heck was the website? Not Chamberlain, something with a C. I have it in my eBay history. I think I sent you the link to the VFO and to the buffer amp, right?
Yeah, you did. But there's this ubiquitous pair of 2N222 buffer amplifier that's all over the internet. I don't know what it gives you for final peak-to-peak voltage output, but what do you know what you were getting out of that little buffer amp?
Well, the VFO with the buffer amp, I think on the VTVM, it was showing me about 8.5, 9 volts. So that's not really peak to peak, I suppose, but.
You know, the buffer amp that I've got came from Haggerty, WA1FFL, and I believe he still sells those.
Yeah, but that's a kit. You got to build it.
Well...
Yeah, I mean, in the absence of something else, Clark, this buffer amp, I bought 3 of them, because I have 3 of these VFOs. It's, picture this, a quarter squared off. That's the size of it, and it was like $14 on eBay.
All right, well, if you can't get it anymore, then this sounds like a great idea, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. The VFO that I run into the Ranger was the N3ZI VFO that I built, like, probably 12, 13 years ago with the Haggerty buffer amp piggybacked on it. And then I never used it until Phil, God love him, made me that plug to plug it into the Ranger. And I've been using it ever since. So I am familiar with the Haggerty buffer amp, absolutely.
All right. Well, I've got both this is actually powered by the Haggerty DDS VFO and the companion buffer amp, and actually a Dave made. How about that, Perry? Linear amp. Well, it's not linear. It's Class C for driving the E-Rig. So yes, it's a Haggerty DDS VFO. Haggerty buffer for driving the El Valiente, and then the Dave made 2-watt amplifier for driving the Cousins E-Rig.
Hey, Rich. That's cool. Rich, I went directly to his website instead of on eBay, and he still shows the DDS VFO amplifier. It doesn't say not available.
What's his name again?
Casarain, Casarain, Casarain.com. And if you throw that in Google, one of the things that pops up is DDS VFO amplifier. Does your 809850 base DDS have inadequate output to drive a vintage transmitter? The solution is here. Barely larger than a postage stamp, our amplifier will terminate your DDS in the proper 200 ohm load and provide approximately 10 times voltage gain. It didn't really do 10 times, but it did enough, and it fit inside the VFO, which was beautiful. I didn't have to make a separate box or anything. I put it right inside the VFO.
Yeah, you sent me a photograph of that, so I see how you did that. Is he still getting $14 for them?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to put it in the cart and see what it says. It says add to cart, check out. I'm not gonna buy another one, but it looks like if I paid him, that it would go through. So it looks like he has them. Maybe he just doesn't put them on eBay anymore. I don't know.
Hey, just think, you could be a ham fairy by going ahead and hitting the buy now button and sending that to Rich.
I suppose I could. I don't know how to do that with him. I could do that through eBay. I wonder, he doesn't have it on eBay anymore, Rich. I guess you haven't seen it?
No, I did a search. In fact, nobody has one. There's not even one coming out of China. You do DDS buffer amp or any iteration of those words, and you get nothing. You start getting, pictures of amplifiers.
Did you buy the VFO already?
I have not, no. But I'm thinking about it now that 10 meters is ripping in a roar, and my boat anchor's. Got to keep a knob. Got to keep a hand on the VFO knob.
Right. Yeah. I was on 10 yesterday. 10, 12, 15, and 20. Giving those contesters points. Yeah, it doesn't come up on eBay anymore. That's interesting. I would order the VFO right away and then order the buffer amp from him, because I think the VFO went up a little in price. I paid like $52 and then the buffer amp was 15, and then it was tax. You know, so I don't know, 75, 80 bucks with shipping maybe. And you have a digital VFO. You could always use it for something, you know.
I'm also looking at these signal generators that will put out, you know, all kind of waveforms, but a sine wave, and up to 20 volts peak to peak. So that would do the job too.
It would, absolutely, 100%.
The only thing is, I don't know how you would key it. You'd have to key the signal generator because you don't want to listen to the VFO all the time.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if it has any kind of a trigger line or something. You'd have to look at it. What I did with the little VFO was get inside, and I went across that push button on the front, and I put a jack on the back so that I could leave the offset on when the VFO is just sitting there, and then when I key up, a normally open set of contacts makes it shift back to the frequency that you want to transmit on.
How much is the offset?
455 kc, so it goes far enough away and it doesn't bother your receiver.
Yeah, I guess that would work. Well, anyways, we'll decide what we're going to do. But I'm glad to know he's still selling those in buffer amps because nobody else is.
Yeah, I'm tempted to buy another one. You know, I might have put an extra one away in a drawer. I got to look, but you can't. I mean, for that price, $14.99, and I think it runs on like anything from like 5 to 14 volts. Obviously, the higher the voltage, you're going to get more out of it, but it gives you a lot of flexibility.
What's happening, fellas? Delete 2E1.
Hey, Bob.
Hello, Bob.
Yeah, we just wanted to take an extra long standby to make sure that Charlie wasn't in here transmitting, so I wasn't accused of anything.
Haven't heard Charlie all day.
Yeah, I didn't get up early this morning to get on the radio, so I normally catch him in the morning, but I was not there.
No, I was on with Bear on the Big 85 for a couple hours today. Talked to some other guys and stuff, but yeah. Anyway, 6.5 dozen there. I was watching NASCAR upstairs before, and then I just got like bored. So it's like, yeah, whatever. So been outside doing a bunch of yard work today. I had to some of my ornamental. Hold on, let's make sure I have it. Some of my ornamental grass, my maidenhead grass, it grows like Jersey Shore style. Anyway, I went outside, had a look at that, and I tied a bunch of. I had to tie some junk line, some of that hemp line that I bought at. I forget if I bought it at True Value or Lowe's or whatever, but that hemp line, it's just cloth, stringy stuff, and I went outside, I had to fish that around all the bushes on the bottom, and then I tied one around like the middle, and then I had my wife hold it, and then I took the hedge trimmer to the bottom, and bang bang, 4 inches from the grass, and man, I got all kinds of green growth going on there already. I am so happy that I did that today. So, and I have probably, if I had to guess, I probably have 24 of these plants in the yard. I have a group that go across the back. I have a group that come up the side, which were yearlings. They were only 1 year, just like the ones in the front are 1 year. But anyway, things are starting to take off, man, and we're still supposed to have cold temperatures at night, like mid-20s, but 40 to 50 during the day. So I think the growing season is coming alive. This is W2ENY.
Good times.
I'm going to go upstairs and get something to eat, you guys, so catch y'all later. K1ETP.
Yeah, I was literally just thinking about what I'm going to have for dinner. Catch you later, Rich. Maybe I'll have tacos.
Hey, actually,
I think
having pizza for dinner again. We did a pizza in the oven outside yesterday. It was absolutely fantastic. We rolled it out about 11 and a half inches, and it was cool. We did another one today. The proofing box I had out by the pellet stove, not on the pellet stove, but the freaking scanner, man, Jesus. I had the proofing box out there with the dough already seasoned with a little bit of flour out there, and anyway, I'm guessing the dough temp was probably about 72, and it didn't roll out real good today. It had some negative. Had some negative elasticity to it. So like we took the conical rolling pin to it, and it just kept being a rectangle, and anyway, so there you have it, and that's what we did today for lunch, and I'm planning on doing the same thing for dinner, and then we got I think there's like lasagna reheats from a couple nights ago I can do. So we're gonna have pizza again for dinner, and I might actually have the balls to go upstairs and cut up a couple of pieces of sopressata and throw that on as a topping.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of unique. And I still have sausage is still in the mix. I gotta get like a couple of links of sausage and parboil them, and then cut the casing off and throw that on. So the sausage is pretty much pre-done. I just gotta throw it on the top, pat it down with a little bit of paper towels, and we'll get it going. But yeah, man, pizza's been the life lately. I've been having a blast with that outdoor pizza oven. It's good times.
Well, 7-3 to Rich, first of all, and I'm gonna follow his lead and go get dinner going. I gotta light the grill. Kathy's over at her mother's house. I've got a porterhouse the size of a small child that I'm going to thoroughly enjoy. Just gotta time it right to keep it bloody. So, if you gents are in here after dinner, hopefully we'll pick it up with you. Otherwise, Bob, Perry, Joe, Clark, 7-3. We'll catch you later. N2 LJO.
All right, that was a bit weird, George. You said you were going to enjoy a porterhouse as much as a bloodied child. What were you saying?
No, I said I have a porterhouse the size of a small child.
All right.
Actually, speaking about steak and stuff like that.
See you, George.
Thinking about getting. I've seen these things online. It's a little temperature probe that you stick in the steak, and you can look at it on your iPhone and see the actual temperature that it's inserted to. And I've been kind of thinking about getting one of those, just to, excuse the pun, but poke around with it a little bit when cooking steak. I mean, usually when I cook steak, it's usually the same drill. Usually I pre-cut it, I marinate it in Viva Italian, then I just burn the outside for like 7 minutes and then bring it inside, and it's usually like on the borderline of moo and ooh. But I've been thinking about getting one of these little temperature probes and just playing around with it.
Imagine that. Now there's an app to tell you how to cook steaks.
Yeah, I'm just saying, so that the center becomes 160 or 165. And I think that's a pretty cool thing. I mean, back in the old days, it was, living with my folks, it was turn the grill on high and throw on one side, and when the blood starts coming up through the top, you flip it over and you wait for the blood to come up through the top again, and it's done.
Isn't those old school methods are timeless?
You gotta cook it or you'll get worms.
Damn right, tetanus and all that other stuff. Now I gotta have my steaks well done, and they gotta be butterflied, so they're just, you know, gray on the inside, black on the outside, and cover those things over. Apply steak sauce, A1 or Leon Perrins with a spatula, and you're good to go.
I miss my father's barbecue chicken. Completely black on the outside and bleeding on the inside.
Yeah, I'm not doing a steak butterflied and well done on the outside. That's not going to happen here.
Yeah, I remember ordering a dish like that at a French restaurant. The chef threw me out.
I could believe that. I was in Salt Lake City one time back when I worked at Timeplex, the T181 company, and I was traveling with the VP of Quality, and we were at a restaurant, and the guy ordered a filet mignon exactly like that, and the waiter just told him, he said, why don't you order something else because the chef won't cook it like that.
I'll have your salad, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I'm gonna get out of here too, guys. I gotta go eat dinner. I'm getting fat and hungry over here. Now I want tacos. I can make another cheesesteak because I have the other half of the chip steak left, which I either have to eat tonight or tomorrow, or I have ground beef thawed out and I can make tacos. But I don't know what I want. So, we're going to have to decide. But it's going to be one of those two.
I don't know, man. I'm not a real big fan of tacos. Maybe the soft tacos, I'm okay with that. The hard shell, they're just a pain in the ass, man. When you bite into it, the shell cracks and the stuff goes all over the place.
Yep, it's true.
I only eat soft tacos. I should have mentioned that. I don't eat the hard. I got a brand new fresh slab of tortillas in there, man. So if it's gonna be tacos, it will be soft tacos with Mexican style cheese and meat. That's it. Maybe a little bit of Tabasco, but I'm a simple guy. I don't like lettuce and all that stuff on there. And tomatoes. Nah. Meat and cheese. Anyway, we'll catch you guys later. Have a good evening. Good hearing you. Band's in great shape, but I'm just hungry. W3MMR.
Yeah, let me make sure I have it. Just in case Charlie wanted to key up. I don't want to key over him or anything or upset him. Hey, and you know what? If you're gonna go with the soft tacos, you know what? I go all the way, man. I go right to the pita bread, or I buy the soft tacos, and then I get a lamb steak, and yeah, I cube that up. I'll put it in a skillet on the barbecue outside, and yeah, good times with that. And then I'll cut up a cucumber into little cubes, and get out some of that. There's yogurt dressing that they have. It's a ranch yogurt dressing. It's not like really tzatziki sauce, but man, if you're gonna do the soft taco, I'm not doing Mexican, man. Although I'm okay with that, but if I'm gonna do that, it's gonna be Greek all the way, man. It's gonna be great.
That's right.